on both sides. Raise your hand for a question. Fire away.
We just heard from Coach Leipold about the significance of having all the same quarterbacks that you did in the spring and that sort of continuity. How helpful has that been for their development?
Tremendously helpful. You can start from, instead of starting from like a true day one, you can start from the end of spring, the summer workouts we had, so you can jump into stuff a little much faster. You can build much faster and get more detailed when you don't have to teach new people new stuff right away. So it's been huge. It's been a really big help. That was my shortest answer like ever.
What makes up a good characteristics of a good backup quarterback?
The ability to be ready to go at any time. Be ready, like that's what I think was like when Cole jumped in there as number 3 at that time, then became number 2, being able to jump, being prepared, preparation number 1, being able to get mental reps. I think it's the hardest thing for a kid, for most people, is to get reps when you're actually not doing it. And I think that's really hard. And we talk about, like, I use kind of a unique philosophy, like if you watch a play 10 times on film, you gotta kind of trick yourself to realize you just ran that play 10 times. Even though you didn't run it, you got what you needed out of it. So the biggest thing is a film study, being able to watch play. I think we call it functional intelligence. All kids pick up information differently. The amount of time they can pick it up fast. Some guys are slow, some guys are fast. So you got to figure out which ones are how they are and kind of work that teaching towards it. I mean, I think my teaching background helps. Being a math teacher, you know, not everybody loves mathematics and so on. So being a high school math teacher, being able to find different ways that kids can learn, and in this case, young men can learn and pick things up. In our case, our guys are fast. Like Cole's really fast, Isaiah's really fast. Like young guys, those are the young, I guess the youngest, TJ. But those guys are really fast. So it's been good. So I think that being able to pick stuff up, being able to perform like Jason did at a high level without getting all the one rep. Even though, but I will tell you, last tell you the same thing. The way we practice helps. When you're going 2 huddle, your 2's getting as many, especially your 2's are getting as many reps as your 1's conceptually. So you're getting a lot more reps in the line. I think our 2's, our backups, I can't say backups, but our guys, our 2's and 3's get a lot more reps than most people's 2's and 3's. I think it's helped us. It's been awesome ever since I've been with Coach at Whitewater. Amazing the amount of reps those kids get.
Has that been a competition between Cole and Isaiah for that?
It's always a competition, man. You know that, but it has been. I think, and you know the background with Isaiah, his athleticism. You guys saw him in the springtime, the ability to make plays, and coming from a winning program. When I say championship helps, the understanding of what it takes to be successful. I think we sometimes undervalue the fact, especially the quarterback position, of how important it is of coming from a winning program or being a winner or winning a lot, understanding what it takes to win. But I think it's been a really good competition. I think you whenever look, it's so unique. The room is so, I got the best room in the country. I mean, they are great guys and young men. We have a blast, but it is competition, but they root and pull for each other. Even when Jason was here too, it's kind of not like, oh, I hope that kid doesn't do well so I can get the play. Like they pull for each other. And they're as excited when someone else makes a play as they are when they make their own play. So yes, there's a competition going, but it never feels like it is. But it has to be, because you know and I know, I've told you with Jason and Cole, they're like, competition makes the next guy better. I really believe that. I think when it happened back in Buffalo, Tyree Jackson got hurt, Anderson came in, played great. He gets hurt, Tyree comes back and plays great. Like you see like, oh, my job. Because you know how all the stories we hear of like Kurt Warner's and someone goes down or Tom Brady world or whatever happens, you got to be ready. So I think it's good competition. That's healthy.
What areas of focus do you have for Cole during fall camp this year?
I call it. I'm not a biomechanical guy by any means, but I'm a loose hip guy, like ability to twist and turn. So more stay loose. You guys have heard me say stay loose and be sudden, but stay loose and be able to make those off-platform throws, those flick throws, because he's such a tough guy. You know where he ran in like Texas Tech and just wants to go pound people. Like being able to be loose and be able to make those throws, because he was not to don't quote me on this one if I'm wrong. I think it's a low 90 baseball player pitcher. Like he threw hard. So being able to not throw hard and be able to make those flick throws and those different types of throws is something that's really big. We worked on really hard, and him be able to throw off platform, nakeds, play action, that kind of stuff, be able to escape the pocket and throw not to run everybody over. It's okay to run some people over, just not everybody all the time.
Coach, how much with the Kansas offense in particular, and maybe just in football in general, how much is having 2 experienced quality backs like you have here, running backs, potentially affect the quarterback play?
It makes it much easier, 100%. It makes it easier. The play action becomes better. they can't just lock in on you as a quarterback and come get something. No, they better take care of the running back too. And then the play action game's awesome, and the move the pocket type stuff is great. But I think it's a huge benefit, and it also takes pressure off that we can run the ball and have the ability to run the ball with those guys. Not always have to make the toughest throw in the toughest situation. No, sometimes you just go, boom, Devin, hey, Daniel, and go get some. And then all of a sudden when you don't do it, the action becomes one-on-one, and then with the kids you have outside, now you bring people in the box, and now you gotta go Lawrence and Q and Luke and those guys and play one-on-one. That's tough. So I think it's been huge. It's been awesome for those guys. It helps. And the other thing about those guys, everybody talks about them as runners. Unbelievable and pass pro, and like the ability to do that and take pride in it. So I think that's what helps us a ton. But it's been a big plus for us.
Coach, how different, or maybe not different, has your role been with the offensive coordinator, or what has that changed for you on the day-to-day basis?
Role, I think it's been more. How do you say this? I think I always feel like I'm still heavily involved in the pass game, like I was with Andy. I think it's probably a little more say-so in it because Jeff being new, not new to the Kansas offense, but still having the background of what we do. So I think I've been more, he's leaning a lot more on, hey, is he pass game wise, or here, yeah, look, you go take that and tell me what it is. And he's really good with play action stuff, obviously, from his background, but being able to let me kind of roll in the quick game and the drop back game, I think has been probably the bigger difference, kind of keeping what we do but being able to add stuff throughout the spring and the summer's been great. So I think it's been more, he's leaning more because he knows I'm the one who, in our staff probably, I'm the one who's been around the office. Like Andy and I were together back in Buffalo, kind of created this thing, kind of rolled. Then it keeps growing. And I always tell you this, when some people come in, the greatest part about new people coming in is they always add value to it. You take what we've done and what Andy done and us together, and then you always add some value to it. So that's what's kind of cool about it. I never look at it as, oh my God, someone's coming in is really good. So I think it's been more pass game, kind of, Z, go ahead, go roll with this thing, and then let's go.
We're gonna get to talk to Ben Easters in a minute here. I'm just wondering, what kind of off-field value does he provide you guys in the quarterback?
As much, I'm trying to think of, I'm gonna say this, I apologize for any other quarterback I've coached in a lot of years. One of, if not the best guys in the quarterback room I've had. A dude not playing as much as he probably would like to. Obviously, we all want to play, but still having so much value in regards to being there. So he knows the offense because he's been there for multiple years now. I've been through this offense with him. Can help the young guys. Knows how we do things and can help them be positive. Understands how I want them coached and be able to focus and refocus on the different things I talk about. And he can talk to those guys. And I always have that positive guy coming off the field when we're playing. I think has been huge for Jalen. I think Jason loved him more. Like just someone to kind of, hey, it's okay, Jay. Like me saying, hey, whatever, and then all of a sudden him being around. The value's huge having him around. He's awesome.
And how important was it symbolically just to give him the chance to play at Cincinnati?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We gave him a run play too. And of course he lowered his head and freaking, I don't know if it's an Indiana thing or whatever, but he ran to try to lower some boom. But he cares. And like Lance says, in terms of value to him, the value, one of the biggest values he brings is he's so bought into what we're doing here. From a term of culture, that has been great. And you love to have him. He's a terrific person.
What's the next step for Jalen Daniels? You know, obviously anybody mentioned the health, but as a quarterback, what's kind of the next step for him?
Staying healthy. No, still building on the fact of, I will tell you this from jumping noses too. Well, first off, getting back to getting 11 type reps. So that's fun, but just getting back into the mix. It's a different beast when you people haven't been around you. I mean, you know what I'm saying, coming to try to blow you up, for lack of better words. But to me, it's still a fact of finding that line of what I can and can't do in terms of special. I have that line of reach out. You guys heard me say, you got to push that line of greatness, but once you go over it, you become really bad. Like a really crazy, stupid throw or whatever, but figuring out what I can get away with and make. Because when he does, and you've seen it before, and we've all seen there's some specialness going on. I know it's not a word, I just created specialness, but there's some special things he can do. But I think still trying to find that thing, and then getting back to taking what they give you. And it's okay not always have to, it's okay to give the ball to Dev, throw the swing, throw a check down, get a short throw, and not have to always make it spectacular. I think when he combines that, it's going to, and then you guys know this about him and you've talked about him for multiple years. His background in high school is very run-oriented quarterback-wise. Like Randy, he'll tell you that, didn't he? Like his offense is like Z-post. What do you do if the Z-post wasn't open? Run, okay? So think about that and learning some of these kids now that are coming in that are in these high-octane type offenses, multiple personnel group in the 4 and 5 wide and all this stuff. So it's still growing in the football knowledge part of it, and understanding coverages. He's good with protection, but still understanding that part of it's big.
Yeah, how do you balance that with Isaiah being such a great athlete, can do things outside of the pocket, off platform, with also saying, hey, learn what you're doing in the pocket first?
I think a little bit, what's good about that is, I guess to answer is like, you can see what he can do outside, so I can spend all my time with him actually working inside, if that makes sense. And that's where him and Jalen are kind of similar, where Jalen is good outside, now let's get him inside. So being able to make the throws that are there in time, just like Coach and I were talking, Coach and I were talking, like, we got to be able to make the throws we need to make in the pocket on time. And I can spend all the time doing it. So that's where all the routes on air with the receivers. That's where you get your stationary, for lack of better words, the perfect pocket, nice, pretty, easy throws. I say easy, but a clean pocket type throws. So we spend a lot more time after watching those guys throw off platform and what they do. And then I think a lot of my teaching's become really good with off platform stuff. So I feel really like I do as good as anybody in the country at being able to help kids be able to do that off platform type stuff, to get them on platform again and realize I got to go back to that sometimes. So that's where the balancing act becomes. A lot of my indie time now has become quick movement, reset, and make throws when you're actually on platform.
Lance talked about him being really even keeled in high school.
He is.
He had a lot of comeback wins and things like that. I guess, how did you see that attitude play out on the field, both when you were recruiting him and now?
I'll talk more now. I saw him recruiting when I got a chance to watch one game live. Just never, like, it was like this. And in that game, they were playing a team that they were better than, and he ran for multiple yard touchdowns. I think threw for multiple touchdowns, but still, it was just, he's maybe like this kind of guy, but he's not like that. Like, he's opposite of Jalen in that a little way, you know what I'm saying? Not in a bad way, just kind of like, he is like this. But then he plays and he has, I call it the Allen Iverson crossover move, where he can fake people out with and he can cut people and go, but he's dynamic athletically, special, but he's so much this, which is pretty cool. So I'm seeing it now, I've seen it. I sometimes raise my voice at practice, occasionally. And sometimes you kind of see how kids react to it. And sometimes, and Lance knows well enough, sometimes I do it just to kind of create chaos to see how they handle it, because it's going to happen in a game. So sometimes I'll go nuts, so to kind of see how they react to it. And he's just like, yes, coach. I'm like, wow, that's kind of boring. It's too easy, but it was really good. But that's what I'm really impressed by. He's been so, family's awesome. The coach he had in high school, those guys are awesome. But he is so much, yes, coach. That's all he looks like. He looks right at me. I can be like, protection, yes, coach. I'm like, okay. And that's what's so much fun, so I can pick stuff up. So it's pretty impressive. It really is. It is like that.
There's a new rule with the mics and the back of the helmets where the quarterbacks can hear. How do you talk to the quarterbacks about that? And how have you seen them manage that? I know Jeff is probably one.
Yeah, but it's cool. They, it's still, at this moment, it's just the play call type stuff. And with us being more of a wristband type team, obviously, it's just a wristband number. But little tidbits of information can help them. I think that's what's a good part. I've talked to Jeff about it. Like running the bowl game with Jason, the bowl game was 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, 3 touchdowns. It was like a roller coaster. It was like, I'm like Ohio, so I'm a Cedar Point guy, the best roller coasters around, but I'm like, holy mackerel. So I got Jason, 3rd and 12, it's okay to punt occasionally on 4th down. You don't have to throw the ball into triple, it's okay. But trying to calm him down was fun to be able to, and even out there, like even after a play, you could say like, hey, deep breath, man. It's okay, we got this. So that's kind of have the positive reference. So I've talked to Jeff a little bit about that, the part of that a little bit, and he's great at that kind of stuff. But also the part of, there's something within the play call. You can give some tips and reminders in the play call, which is pretty cool. Hey, this is double, hey, we got multiple movements here. Or hey, this could be, hey, remember why you did this now. We're expecting this to bust open, or so on and so forth. They're like, hey, it's a check with me, remember it's an A-gap check, or whatever check it is. So I think that's the little tips and reminders you can give them. I think is really cool. It's helpful to be able to, all the stuff we talk about as coaches, you can continually still talk about it. So I think the good thing is with him talking about it, he's great with them. He's got a chest guy. You guys obviously have met him multiple times. A really even keel, kind of comfortable demeanor too. So the kids, I think, are really appreciative to have taken to that.
Anything else for Coach Z? Thanks.